Hello everyone, in this video we'll discuss poem number 67 of Amoretti series. So let's first know about what is Amoretti. Amoretti is a sonnet cycle of sonnet that was written by Edmund Spenser in 16th century. Edmund Spenser was a contemporary of William Shakespeare. His written sonnet are also known as Spenserian sonnet. What is the difference between Shakespearean sonnet and Spenserian sonnet we'll discuss later. The first thing, Amoretti is a sonnet cycle written by Edmund Spenser. Second question that's always asked or usually asked is, what is the meaning of the term Amoretti? So the meaning of the term Amoretti is little love or little Cupid. So you must remember it. It is little love or little Cupids. Third point is, what is this sonnet cycle about? This sonnet cycle describes the courtship and eventual marriage to Elizabeth Boyle. So this poem has been sonnet cycle has been written by Edmund Spenser, dedicated to his future wife whose name was Elizabeth Boyle. It was first published in 1595 in London and the publisher was William Ponsonby. When it was published as a part of the volume called Amoretti and Epithalamion. Here, Epithalamion is a marriage song, wedding song in the form of ode written in 365 lines divided into 24 sections, and this Epithalamion marriage song is also dedicated to his wife Elizabeth Boyle. Now this sequence of Amoretti has 89 sonnets and there are smaller poems too, that's known as Anacreontics and Epithalamion, that is a public poetic celebration of poet's marriage with his beloved then wife Elizabeth Boyle. Now we next will discuss the poem, and the poem is Amoretti, poem number 67, the title of which is Like as the Huntsman. The title is Like as the Huntsman, written by Edmund Spenser. First we understand what is the difference between Spenserian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. You see at the line we go for the rhyme scheme. So the rhyme scheme here is A, chase and place, A, away and pray, so is B and B. But you see the next, so this is a quatrain with a rhyme scheme AB, AB. But you see the next line does not start with C. It starts with the rhyme scheme of B. So if you see the rhyme scheme here is AB, again AB, and the next quatrain also starts with B. So it's BC, BC, and then next you will find start with C, CD, CD, then EE, EE. So what do you find? That there is concatenated lines, similar line, concatenated lines at the end of a quatrain that makes the reader puzzled where the line actually finishes. While in the Shakespearean sonnet, the next stanza starts with C. So if it were a Shakespearean sonnet, the rhyme scheme would have been AB, AB, then CD, CD, then EF, EF, and then GG. So this is the difference between Spenserian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. Let's start the text. The text says, in this sonnet, poet compares himself with a huntsman and he compares his beloved with a prey. So huntsman hunts its prey. Here, so poet says, like as a huntsman after weary chase, seeing the game from him escaped away. So game is huntsman hunts his game. So here huntsman is poet himself, huntsman is poet himself, and his game is his beloved, that is Elizabeth Boyle. So he says, so there is an extended metaphor goes throughout the lines. He says, like a huntsman after a weary chase, seeing the game from him escaped away. When a huntsman sees that his game, who the prey that he has been hunting, has escaped away. He is out of his reach. So the huntsman sits down to rest in some shady place with panting hounds. So huntsmen usually go with the hounds. Hounds is the dogs, the hunting dogs are hounds. So the hounds are also panting by now, वो भी हाफ रहे हैं. So because they are beguiled of their prey, क्योंकि उनका जो prey है, शिकार है, वो जा चुका है उनसे. So when they are beguiled of their prey, so the hounds and the huntsmen both sit down at a shady place to just rest. So likewise, as the huntsman does, so after the long pursuit, so the poet Spenser was trying to court Elizabeth Boyle for a long time. He was writing poems to her, sonnets to her, but she was not responding. And then he thought that it's a fruitless venture, and he left following her, same as the huntsman left following its prey when he thought that it is out of its reach. So he says, so after long pursuit and vain essay, when practice or when trying, useless trying, vain is useless, when I all weary, जब मैं पूरा थक गया था, I all weary had the chase forsook. He was chasing the prey, he forsook it. So if we talks about huntsman and prey, so huntsman was following its prey, and he forsook it. And here the poet was following Elizabeth Boyle, trying to court her, and then he forsook. उसने हार मान लिया. जब हार मान के he gave up, the gentle deer, in the terms of huntsman, the gentle deer, so here huntsman is hunting the deer, returned the same same way. So the deer returned the same way, thinking to quench her thirst at the next brook is river. So the deer also returned the same way. It thought that it must drink the water because it wanted to quench its thirst. So here it is, we can say that it's somewhat sensual imagery, because the deer, the Elizabeth Boyle, is also returning the another way, and as poet is sensually or sexually inclined towards her, so she is. So there she beholding me with a milder look, but she, the Elizabeth Boyle, she looked the poet with a milder look. And this time the prey did not sought to fly, but fearless still did bite. So prey, the one that is hunted usually flee to see the huntsman, but here the poet claims that this time when the deer, her Elizabeth Boyle, when she returned with her own will, she did not sought to fly. She did not run from him. She did not dissect or reject his courtship, but she stood there fearless. So what is this fear when in the older time when the poet must have been courting her? So she must be in the fear that he will take the sexual advantage of her and then will leave her and will not marry with her, something like that. But this time she did not fly from him, but fearless, she was standing over there with a milder look. And the poet claims that how long did she stand there, sought not to fly, till she did not flee, till I in hand her yet, half trembling took. I took her in my hand, that was half trembling. So it at the same time it shows that she was trembling, she was nervous to come into the embrace of the poet or accept the love of the poet. And with her own goodwill, her family tied. I tied her with me, family, with her goodwill, not against her will. It means the poet gained the love of Elizabeth Boyle, not against her will. It means her courtship, her proposal was finally accepted. Now poet claims that it's a strange thing. It starts with the huntsman analogy, the extended metaphor, but now here says that's a strange thing me seemed to a bee so wild. Here is a paradoxical statement because hitherto he was claiming, or he was comparing Elizabeth Boyle with a deer, gentle deer, and deer are not beast. But here, contradictory to his previous statement of the prey being a deer, he says that he found it very strange that a bee so wild. Elizabeth Boyle, now he claims that she's so wild. Why wild? Because she was not compliant, she was not meek, she did not easily accept the love of the poet. She was rejecting, and she was fierce in her rejection. So he claimed that the bee so wild, so goodly, one that I won her with her own will beguiled, because her own will beguiled her. She was cheated, or she bent down before her own will to love the poet, and that way the poet had her. So this is the poem Amoretti, poem number 67, Like as a Huntsman. Thank you.